Thanks to all the states present for honoring us with their presence. Also thanks to the table for being present. In this position, we will talk about two topics that currently affect the modern rights of society. In recent years, the previous privacy of people in social networks worldwide has been affected, but since previous years the countries of Germany, Denmark, France, Austria, and Luxembourg signed the Convention of 108, which established a directive that protects the data of people and their circulation. In spite of all this effort, it was necessary that the state of Denmark with the UE signed a new European Data Protection Regulation, which came into vigor in 2016, with a period of transition of 2 years, being totally obligatory throughout Europe since May of 2018. The regulation includes a section with rights, access, rectification, cancellation, and opposition, article, each with different sections that seek the privacy of people, such as rectification, which allows the right to forget, to have the right to completely eliminate personal information from a social network or similar. As a requisite, a compliance officer was implemented which will have the function of protecting the new privacy framework together with the accreditation of the regulation. All this in order to have a greater information and protection of this, of personal information, in order to give a greater independence to the public and greater confidentiality to the information. Now, with this regulation, a sanction is guaranteed to all those who violate the privacy rights of people. Now, in Denmark, you have a period of 6 months from May 26 to have the rules to be part of the laws of the state. Despite these new guidelines and protections that are held as Danish citizens, there is a law in the constitution that dictates that these statements are made in media such as social networks, such as calls. Statements that damage or insult religion, ethnic groups, societies, etc. Sanction can be imposed ranging from fines to imprisonment. The law specifically is in the Article 266b and says, any person who publicly or with intention of wide dissemination makes statements of discloses or the information by which a group of people is threatened, insulted, or degraded by race, color, ethnic or national origin, religion or sexual inclination will be exposed to a fine or jail for a period not exceeding 2 years. This guarantees respect in any way towards any society, and groups of people. As an example of this, we have the case of a Danish man who was recorded in the house repeating unpleasant insults about the Islamic State, about its customs, and making burlesque comments toward the people who belonged to it. This man was fined with 700 euros as a result of statements. All this in guarantee the security and respect towards each existing community. With the implementation of these rules, global security is guaranteed, and greater privacy for citizens is ensured. These sanctions should be imposed on all equally campaigns, religious, government, and society in general, to ensure an improvement in terms of protection to the privacy of people in globalization world. Thank you very much for your attention. Welcome to the second topic. The European Union has always stood firm with the country that allows certain violation of human rights. Some of these violations range from torture to mutilation in certain cultures towards certain groups. The state of Denmark proposed a sanction, some of which have already been applied to countries like Syria. These sanctions are withdrawing support from certain civil organizations to their country, seizing weapons and requesting a reduction in the number of their armed forces. Another type of sanctions that are part of the proposal of the Danish state is economic and commercial restrictions, which are more directed towards the political groups that allow this type of violation in the countries. The sanctions limit the economic scope that the groups will have at the national level in order to reduce the impact and proliferation of their actions. As can be seen, the sanction must be specific and without involving the use of armed forces. Sanctions vary according to the severity of the action of the offending nation, as well as the scale at which they are directed. If you want to impose a sanction on a group of people or on a person, you must close the entry to other nation or continent, or deprive them of their assets. This has already been applied previously in Venezuela, where, by not respecting democratic rights with election without guarantees for citizens, the number of weapons were reduced and the politicals in charge of elections were sanctioned. If this has been applied to violation of democratic rights, it must be applied equally to the violation of human rights. Considering specifically torture in the year 2007, there was a register of 102 nations that allowed it. The government of this nation knew about the torture but simply ignored it, didn't take action, and some nations like China agreed to use it as a punishment. Now let's go to 2014. In 2014, the number of countries with torture was reduced to 79, and in 2015, 150 countries ratified the Convention Against Torture. Despite this practice against human rights continues to be used in many countries. The highest figure occurs in Africa. Countries of this continent use it as a method to obtain certain confessions. Countries that, despite having ratified against torture, continue to use it. There should be used and impose one of the aforementioned punishments so that they can be to guarantee the rights of the people. All these actions are justified by Articles 39 and 41 written in the Charter of the United Nations that confer the power to take action against illicit activities that disrupt world peace. There should be no exception for all application of the law. The State of Denmark agrees with the implementation of these sanctions to the countries involved. Mutilation, such as death sentences and torture, should be considered as a human rights violation, since according to the Office of United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights must be universal. We must all be threatened fairly, with a trial where we determine the penalties for our crime without torture or mutilation, as a punishment. With regard to the death penalty, the delegation of Denmark maintains a neutral and indecisive stance on fines for countries that allow it. Thank you very much for your attention.